You've been doing compliments wrong your whole life. You're beautiful. You look amazing. You're so hot. Sounds nice. Feels safe. But let me ask you this. If she's heard it 1,000 times from guys she barely remembers, why would you saying it make her remember you? Exactly. It doesn't. Real attraction doesn't happen when she feels flattered. It happens when she feels exposed, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically, and that takes a different kind of compliment. The kind that slips under her armor. The kind that makes her feel seen in ways she never expected. The kind that makes her think about you long after you've walked away. This video is not about flattery. It's about influence. 3. And the top 3 forbidden compliments I'm about to show you, they work not because they're sweet, but because they're dangerous. Before we go in, subscribe to this channel. We drop hard truth daily for men who are done being predictable. And if you're ready to master this on a deeper level, join the Stoic Brotherhood and get the tools to become unforgettable. Now let's get into what you should never say again and what to say instead if you want her mind racing and her body craving you. Number 1, never say you're beautiful. Say this instead. You've probably said it 100 times. You're beautiful. It feels natural, right? You're trying to be kind, polite, respectful, maybe even romantic. But here's the cold truth. It doesn't work. Not the way you think it does. She's heard it from every guy who's ever wanted her. From strangers in her DMs. From men she's not even remotely interested in. It's predictable, it's generic, and most of all, it doesn't touch her. It's surface level. And surface level doesn't seduce. When you tell a woman she's beautiful, you're just confirming what the mirror already told her. You're not giving her something new. You're not making her feel anything unexpected. Now, don't get me wrong, beauty matters. But complimenting her in the way every other man does doesn't elevate you. It blends you into the background. Want to know what hits different? Tell her what her beauty does to you. Instead of "you're beautiful," say this. "There's something dangerous about the way you look at me." See the shift? Now you've made it about the tension, the chemistry, the energy between you. Now you're not just admiring, you're inviting her into a shared moment. You're implying desire without being vulgar. You're triggering imagination, not just stating facts. Or say this, "I can't decide if you're a mystery I want to solve or something I want to get lost in." That's not a compliment about her looks. It's a compliment about your experience of her. And here's the psychological key. Women don't fall for being told they're pretty. They fall for feeling felt for. Being seen in a way most men don't take the time or the risk to express. And if you want to go even deeper, use a compliment that flips the dynamic. Try. You carry beauty like you don't care about it. That's rare. Now, you're not just noticing her beauty. You're noticing how she holds it. You're seeing past the makeup, the outfit, the posing. You're seeing her. That's where the real power of compliments comes in. Not when you praise the obvious, but when you highlight what most men miss. Let's break this down. There are 3 types of compliments. 1, safe compliments. You're beautiful. You look nice. That dress looks good on you. These are fine, but they're forgettable background noise. 2, sexy compliments. There's something about the way you moved, the way you just looked at me. I felt it in my spine. These build tension, attraction, anticipation. 3, psychological compliments. You make me forget what I was about to say. You carry yourself like you've already seen how this ends. These pull her into a mental game. They get inside her head and stay there. When you stop saying you're beautiful and start communicating experience, you stand out. Because most men are either scared to go there or they've never even thought to. But you're learning how to speak directly to her instinct, not just her ears. And here's the part that separates weak from strong. You don't say these compliments to get a reaction. You say them because they're true, because you meant them, because you're grounded enough to say what other men censor. That kind of delivery, that hits, that sticks. That's what makes her think about you when no one else is around. So let me ask you this. Have you ever said something that made her stop, look at you a little longer, and like she knew something you didn't, drop it in the comments? I've seen that look. Because if you have, the power of saying less but meaning more, and if you haven't, that changes today. Because what you say next doesn't just matter. It creates the energy she either craves or forgets. And the compliment coming up in the next part, most men wouldn't dare say it out loud, but once you do, she won't hear anything else. Number 2, the compliment that hits her body and mind. Most compliments land in one of 2 places. Either they hit the body, you look sexy in that dress, you've got legs for days, or they try to hit the mind, you're smart, you're so interesting. But rarely do they do both. And that's why most men lose the game before it even starts. Here's the thing. Most guys don't realize a woman doesn't want to just feel wanted. She wants to feel understood and desired at the same time. That's what turns her on. That's what gets under her skin. That's what makes her crave more of you, not just more compliments. So what does that sound like? Try this. You move like you know what you're doing. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about it. Let's break that down. You move like you know what you're doing. That's an observation. It makes her feel seen. It hits the mind. It's not about her appearance. It's about her presence then. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about it. That's the drop. That's what hits the body. It makes her wonder, what's he thinking about? You've triggered tension without being explicit. It's bold, it's smooth, and it creates polarity. You're not complimenting her for validation. You're stating a reaction she caused in you. That flips the power dynamic. And women feel that shift. Here's another one. The way you sit still with that much confidence, it's distracting. That one's psychological. It suggests control, grace, power. And you're responding to it not in awe, but in intrigue. You're not just noticing her looks. You're noticing what her body language communicates. That's rare. Why does this matter? Because women aren't attracted to guys who only see their surface. They're drawn to men who can see the layers, the physical, yes, but also the vibe, the energy, the command they carry. It's like this. You're not describing her body like a teenager. You're acknowledging the effect she has like a man. And that's a compliment that hits both her skin and her spine. Let me give you one more. You're the kind of woman who knows exactly when to speak and when not to. Now this one, that's dangerous. Why? Because you're not just complimenting her, you're showing that you notice restraint. You're seeing feminine control, which is a subtle but powerful form of sensuality. She'll remember that because no one else is saying it. And that's the goal. Now let me be clear. None of these lines work if you deliver them like a pickup artist or a boy trying to impress. The power isn't just in what you say, it's in how you say it. Relaxed, certain, like you're not fishing for approval, you're just dropping the truth. Because when a man speaks like that, he's not just another compliment machine. He becomes the experience. She starts playing over in her mind, and that's what gets her hooked. She's not chasing attention. She's chasing the feeling you gave her when you spoke. So here's what I want to know. Have you ever said something that made her stop breathing for a second, like her body caught up to what her mind just heard? If you have comment, I've seen it hit. Because that's when you know the words landed in both places. And if you haven't, you're about to, because what's coming next, it'll make her feel something. Most men are too scared to even touch. Stick around. Number 3, praise her darkness, not her light. Most guys only compliment the obvious. You're sweet, you're fun, you're so positive, safe, predictable, forgettable. And here's what they don't understand. Women don't want to be seen as perfect. They want to be seen as real. And real women carry shadows. So while every other guy's praising her light, you're going to praise her darkness. That side she hides. The edge she thinks is too much, the energy she tones down because the world told her to be soft, nice, gentle. You don't ignore it. You call it out. You make her feel like the Shah. The thing she tries to control is the thing you crave. Try this. There's something dangerous about you. I don't know if I should lean in or run. Now pause. You didn't say she's hot. You didn't say she's nice. You said there's something dark in her. And you're drawn to it. And that flips a switch in her brain. She spent years trying to be good enough, nice enough, easy to like. But suddenly this man sees the fire underneath and likes it. That's rare. That's intoxicating. Or this one, you've got the kind of energy that doesn't ask for space. It takes it. Think about that. You're not praising how kind she is. You're acknowledging that there's power behind the eyes, power that most men are too insecure to call out. And when you do, you instantly separate yourself from every guy who is just looking for a pretty smile and some validation. But let's take this deeper. Why does praising her darkness work so well? Because it's taboo. Because it's real. Because it tells her, I'm not afraid of who you really are. In fact, that's the part I want most. It's seductive in a way. Complete men's about looks will never be. Because it's not about appearance. It's about permission. You're giving her permission to be raw, unpolished, wild, sensual, sharp. And you're saying, without needing to say it directly, I can handle all of you. That's not just attractive, that's magnetic. Let's not forget this kind of compliment only works if you're grounded enough to mean it. If you say it to manipulate, it's dead. But if you say it from a place of presence, clarity, and calm, it lands. Because deep down, every woman knows her dark side isn't wrong. It's just been hidden. And when a man sees it and doesn't flinch, she remembers him. Try this on a first date. You've got a little chaos in your eyes. That's probably my favorite part about you. Boom. Not only are you bypassing small talk, you're unlocking something she hasn't heard since the last man who got inside her head. Not just her bed, her head. You're not afraid of the storm. You're dancing in it. So tell me, have you ever looked a woman in the eye and complimented the one thing she was scared to reveal? Drop it in the comments. I've said the dangerous thing because that's where the game changes. That's when the attraction stops being polite and starts becoming personal. And in the next part, you'll learn exactly how to say something she's never heard, but will instantly wish she'd heard from you sooner. Number 4, flatter. What she's scared to admit she loves. Every woman has something she secretly loves but doesn't say out loud. It's not the flowers. It's not the compliments everyone gives. It's not the I like your eyes or you're so sweet. It's deeper than that. It's personal. Sometimes it's even a little taboo. See, most women have cravings they bury under polish and politeness, cravings for power, for control, for being led, for being seen in the ways they're told not to admit out loud. And that's where you come in. Because while most guys are complimenting the surface, you're going to speak to what she won't say she wants, but can't ignore when it's handed to her. That's when her guard drops. That's when her attraction stops being logical and starts being chemical. Let me show you how. Try this. You love being in control, but I can tell part of you wants to let it go. That's not just a line. That's an insight. And if you say it with calm confidence, not arrogance, it'll hit her like lightning. Why? Because it acknowledges the tension inside her. She might be successful, dominant, alpha in the world, but what she's often craving in connection is polarity, contrast, release. And you just said what she wouldn't dare say herself. That's power. Or try this one. You pretend not to like attention, but the way you dress says otherwise. Delivered right? This isn't judgment. It's recognition. It's saying, I see you. Not the mask. the energy underneath. And that can be addictive. Because here's what you need to know. When you compliment the part of her she's afraid to admit she enjoys, you're telling her you're safe to be fully you around me. Not the version she performs. Not the nice girl, the full, messy, real, sensual, conflicted version. And that's rare. Most women aren't complimented in that space. They're either placed on a pedestal or pulled down into something shallow. Very few men know how to stand in the middle, grounded, clear, and bold enough to praise the fire she hides. Here's another example. You've got this quiet hunger under all that calm. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. You're not saying she's too much. You're saying she's exactly the kind of a life you want more of. And the moment you say it, you just gave her the kind of validation that doesn't just feel good, it feels real. Let me be clear though. This only works if you mean it, if you're present, if you're not performing. The second it feels like a tactic, it dies. But when it's truth, it's unforgettable. Because for women, attraction isn't just about who you are, it's about how you see her. And if you can see the parts of her no one else notices, especially the ones she doesn't fully understand herself, you win. So let me ask you this. Have you ever said something to a woman that made her pause, like you just unlocked a secret she didn't know you could see? If yes, type in the comments, I saw it in her eyes. Because if you've ever seen that flicker, that flash of how the hell did he know that? You know how deep this goes. And if you haven't, you're about to, because the next compliment I'll show you flips the entire dynamic and makes her start chasing the feeling only you can give. Number 5, make her feel seen, not desired. Most guys make the same mistake. They think desire is the goal. They focus all their energy on compliments, like, you're so hot, you're sexy, I want you. And sure, that kind of attention might get a smirk, maybe even a little playful reply. But here's the truth. Desire is cheap. Every woman gets it. Every day, online, in real life, at the gym, at the grocery store. Desire is everywhere. But being seen, being truly noticed, that's rare. And when you're the man who makes her feel seen, you unlock something no compliment about her body ever could. Let me show you what I mean. Most men compliment the effect. You're beautiful. I can't stop staring at you. You drive me crazy. But the compliments that actually hit, they compliment the cause. Try this. You read people before they speak. I can tell you carry that quietly, but it's sharp. You didn't say she's hot. You didn't say she's cute. You told her, I see how you move through the world, and I respect it. That goes deep. Or this, you act like you don't need attention, but you're fully aware when you walk into a room. Now you've made her feel understood, not just looked at, not just wanted, understood. That's a rare feeling. And rare is powerful. Why? Because every woman, especially the kind of woman who's used to being desired, starts to filter out compliments. She builds armor. She gets numb to it. But when you slip through the cracks with a sentence that says, I see the real you, and I like that version more, that armor starts to melt. You're not another guy trying to sleep with her. You're a man who's noticing what no one else bothers to. That's what gets remembered. That's what separates you. Let's go deeper. Most men give validation to get a response. But when you validate what's unseen, you're not seeking anything. You're offering presence, insight, depth. And whether she admits it or not, that kind of compliment lands in a way she won't forget. Try this one. You look like you are always in control, but I bet your mind never stops. That line does 2 things. 1, it shows emotional intelligence. 2, it makes her feel like you're paying attention to the small things. The tone, the energy, the vibe she puts out that most men miss. It's not romantic, it's not sexual, but it's unshakable. It's the kind of compliment that echoes in her thoughts later, because every woman knows what it feels like to be desired. But to be seen without performing, without smiling, without showing skin, that hits difference. Now, I'm not saying you should avoid desires, powerful, but it should never be the first door you walk through. Lead with awareness, lead with grounded perception. Let her feel like you saw the version of her that's hidden underneath all the compliments she normally gets. Then if you choose to express desire later, it feels earned, real, grounded. So let me ask you, have you ever said something to a woman that made her stop smiling and just look at you like you hit something real? Drop it in the comments. She paused, because that pause, that's where real connection begins, and the next compliment will cover it. Doesn't just make her pause, it makes her start imagining exactly where this is going. Number 6, say what no other man dares to say. Let me tell you something most men won't hear. Women don't remember the safe guy. They remember the man who made them feel something real. And that doesn't happen when you say what's expected. It happens when you say what nobody else dares to say. Here's the trap most guys fall into. They try to be liked. They try to be nice. They try to be respectful. And in the process, they say nothing. They walk on eggshells. They overthink every word. They filter themselves so hard that they lose all presence. And guess what? She feels that she doesn't feel excited. She doesn't feel curious. She feels bored. But the man who steps in and says what she's never heard before, he doesn't just stand out. He stays in her head. So what does that sound like? Here's one. I don't trust women who smile too much. There's usually something darker behind it. Now stop. You didn't insult her. You didn't get aggressive. You just dropped the truth that most people are too afraid to say. It's bold. It's raw. It's provocative. But most importantly, it's real. And women don't crave more compliments. They crave truth that stings a little but sticks a lot. Or try this one. You seem like the type who pushes people away before they get too close. That's not flirtation. That's not sugarcoating. That's a man with eyes open. That's a man who's not afraid to call out patterns instead of tiptoeing around them. Why does this work? Because women are used to men hiding their opinions, hiding their masculinity, hiding behind compliments, hoping to get lucky. But when you speak without fear, she leans in. Not because you're right, but because you're real. You didn't say what she wanted to hear. You said what no one else would dare say. And that triggers attraction that runs deeper than charm ever could. Let me go further. I don't care if you like me. I care if we're honest with each other. That line ends the performance. You just told her this isn't about winning her over. It's about connection and that's rare. Now understand this. Saying bold things only works if your presence is grounded. If you're trying to be edgy to get a reaction, she'll feel the insecurity. But if your energy is calm, clear, detached from outcome, that's when it lands. That's when she gets curious. That's when you become a mystery. Because most men try to earn her attention. You just say what's actually on your mind, not to offend, not to manipulate, but because you're done pretending. And that makes her feel something she can't explain, but won't forget. You see, the bravest thing a man can do with a woman today is tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because her beauty doesn't impress you. Her social tricks don't faze you. Her validation isn't your goal. You're the one who sees through the performance and dares to speak to the human underneath. So here's my question to you. Have you ever said something so true she didn't know whether to smile or run? Drop it in the comments. I said the quiet part out loud because if you have, you've already felt the shift. And if you haven't, you're about to, because in the next part, we're going to flip the script. And I'll show you the one kind of compliment that turns the entire room in your direction, even when you say it with your eyes, not your mouth. Number 7, use scarcity compliment like a king. Here's the brutal truth. Most men hand out compliments like candy. Easy, instant, everywhere. You look amazing. You're so smart. You're incredible. And what happens? The words lose value. She hears them all the time. They blend into background noise. But you're not most men. You compliment like a king. And kings don't speak to impress. They speak to declare. They speak with intention, not impulse. So let me ask you, when was the last time you held back a compliment, not because you were scared, but because you were powerful? Scarcity makes things matter. And when your words are rare, your presence becomes unforgettable. See, a woman's mind doesn't crave flattery. It craves certainty. The kind of energy that doesn't need to rush in and perform. Let's take this further. Imagine you're having a great conversation with her. Most guys are throwing compliments like confetti by now, but you're calm, curious, grounded. And then after 10 minutes of letting her talk, watching her energy unfold, you look at her and say, you know the way your mind works? That's rare. Boom. Just like that, you've given her one precise, undeniable, valuable compliment. No fluff, no trying to win her over, just a single sentence that hits deep because you made her wait for it. That's what a king does. Or try this. There's a stillness in you. Most people wouldn't notice. I like it. That kind of compliment doesn't just make her feel attractive, it makes her feel seen. And the best part, because you didn't flood her with 10 other empty lines that one complimented echoes. Now let me explain why this works. Psychology is clear. The less available something is, the more valuable it becomes. So when you make compliments scarce, you shift the dynamic. She starts wondering what made him say that now. Why did he choose that moment? What else is he seeing that he's not saying yet? Now she's chasing. Now she's leaning in. Now you control the frame. Let's look at the flip side for a second. When you compliment too much, you put yourself in the role of the admirer. You lower your status. You become the one trying to earn her approval. But when you speak like a man who doesn't need to be liked, who offers approval sparingly, like a man who knows his value, you trigger attraction on a level most men will never touch. You're no longer trying to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself. And she can feel it. Here's the secret. The most powerful compliment is the one she had to earn, even if she doesn't know what she did to earn it. Because that mystery, that tension, it drives her wild. So use your words wisely. Don't flatter to fill space. Speak less, mean more. Say what's real, but say it like it cost you something to share it. That's how you become unforgettable. So tell me, have you ever said less and felt the impact grow? Drop it in the comments. I speak like a king because the man who knows the value of his words knows the value of himself. And the next part we'll walk through, it shows you how to leave a mark without a word, using presence so powerful she'll feel it long after you've gone. Number 8, turn a compliment into a challenge. Let me tell you something bold. A compliment is just a start. What makes it powerful is when it turns into a challenge. Most men stop at validation. You're amazing, you're stunning, you're so smart, it's safe, it's sweet. But it doesn't spark anything. Because when you tell a woman she's amazing, and she already knows it, you're just another fan in the crowd. But what happens when you take that compliment and flip it into a challenge? Now you've moved out of the friend zone. Now you've stepped into the frame of a man who sees her potential and tests it. Here's what that looks like. Let's say she's talking about how she never lets anyone get to her. Most guys would nod and say that's impressive. You say that's cute, but I bet you've built walls so high you forgot what it feels like to be really seen. Boom! You just turned her strength into a doorway. You praised the toughness, but challenged the vulnerability underneath it, and that gets remembered. Or let's say she's always in control, polished high status. Most guys try to win her approval, but you look her in the eye and say, you strike me as someone who is used to leading. I wonder if you even remember how to let go. That line, that's not rude, that's not aggressive, that's a masculine mirror. It shows her something she hasn't had reflected in a long time. Because women don't just crave attention. They crave edges, boundaries, polarity, presence. And when you compliment and challenge, in the same breath, you show her that you're not afraid of her. You're not here to worship. You're here to engage. You're here to lead. Let's look at why this works psychologically. Compliments make her feel validated. Challenges make her feel stimulated. Put them together. She's seen. She's alive. She's intrigued. And intrigue is where attraction lives. Because when you say what most men wouldn't, when you stand strong enough to rattle her just a little, she doesn't forget it. She might smile, she might protest, she might even tease you back. But inside, she's paying attention, because what you just did was step out of the noise. You didn't just echo what every guy says. You woke her up. Let me give you another one. She says, guys are intimidated by me. Most men would say, not me. You say, maybe they are. Or maybe you've made it too easy to intimidate you. Now she's not sure whether to challenge you or chase you. Either way, you've got her attention. And that's the game. The man who triggers both curiosity and confrontation becomes unforgettable. But remember this, it only works if your delivery is grounded. No arrogance, no neediness, just clarity. You're not attacking, you're not proving, you're inviting her into a deeper version of herself, one she might not even know is there until you name it. That's not just flirtation, that's transformation. So let me ask you, have you ever said something to a woman that felt like a dare and saw her rise to meet it? If yes, drop it in the comments. She met the challenge. Because if you've seen that spark, that flash of curiosity, defiance, and attraction, all at once, you know you're not just complimenting her, you're activating her. And in the next part, we'll go even further, because now that you've sparked the challenge, you're about to learn how to say less, do less, and have her do more. Number 9, make her question why she's thinking about you. Let me ask you something deep. What makes a woman lie in bed at night and think about you? Not just remember what you said, but actually wonder, why can't I shake him from my head? It's not your looks, not your car, not your money. It's the psychological imprint you leave behind. You want to stand out. Don't just impress her. Don't just flirt. Make her question herself. And here's the key. You do that not by chasing her, but by leaving space for her mind to roam. See, women fall for the impact, not the interaction. They fall for the afterglow, not the moment. So how do you create that? Start by being unexpected. So something that makes her pause. Make a subtle observation about her that feels way too accurate, like, you talk like you're open, but I can tell you hold back the stuff that matters. Now she's not just reacting, she's thinking about why you saw that. Or this one, you seem calm, but your eyes move like someone who's always scanning the room. You didn't flirt, you didn't compliment, you unlocked something. That kind of moment doesn't end when the conversation ends. It lingers. Why? Because you created an echo. And the echo keeps bouncing inside her mind long after you've left. Let me be clear. It's not about being mysterious for the sake of it. It's about being present enough to notice what others miss, then disappear just long enough for her to wonder, why did that feel different? What did he see in me? Why do I want more of that? That's where the real power is. Most guys try to stay on her radar by flooding her with messages. You exit with precision, and your absence, it becomes louder than their attention, because she doesn't miss you. She misses how she felt around you. She misses the version of herself that only came out when you were there. Now here's a real move. When she shares something vulnerable, you don't react like everyone else. Don't say that must have been hard. Don't say I'm sorry you went through that. Instead you say that explains a lot. Then go quiet. Let the silence pull her in. She'll sit with that. She'll think about that. She'll feel you even when you're not around. And this is where psychology kicks in. The brain doesn't like open loops. When you leave space, emotionally, intellectually, even physically, her mind works overtime to fill in the blanks. So she starts telling herself stories. Guess who the main character is? You. Because you created a kind of presence that sticks not with noise, but with clarity. Here's the truth. Most women forget men who try to be perfect, but they never forget the men who made them question their patterns, reflect on their behavior, and feel something they can't explain. You become the thought she tries to push away, but that shows up when her phone is quiet, when her bed feels too big, when her distractions stop working. So here's your challenge. Can you be so grounded, so sharp, so present that your absence becomes her obsession? If yes, tell me in the comments. She's thinking, but doesn't know why. Because if you've done it right, she won't just think about you. She'll try to understand you. And that's a loop she'll keep chasing until the very last moment when you finally choose whether to let her in or keep walking with your power intact. In the next part, we'll shift one final gear and show you how to seal the impression she'll never erase. Number 10. When your compliment makes her want more. Let's talk about the kind of compliment that doesn't satisfy her. Sounds strange, right? But here's the secret. The most powerful compliment is the one that opens a door and leaves it slightly ajar. Not closed, not wide open, just enough to make her wonder what else. You see? Because most men give compliments that end the moment you're gorgeous, you're funny, you're so sexy. Boom. That's it. It's done. She heard it 1,000 times before. But when a man drops a line that lingers, when his compliment hints at something deeper, she doesn't just smile. She wants more. Not more attention, more understanding. Let me show you how. She says something clever. Most guys would say, "That's smart." You say, "I wasn't expecting that from you." It's subtle, it complements her intelligence, but also suggests there's more about her she hasn't shown yet. She'll smile, but in her mind, what did he expect? What else does he think about me? Why did that feel exciting? You didn't finish the moment. You started one or try this. She's talking about how competitive she is. Most guys say that's hot. You say, "I can already see you hate losing." That's probably what keeps you restless at night. That's not just a compliment. That's an invitation. You're saying, "I see something deeper, but I'm not giving you the full analysis yet." That's how you turn a compliment into mental seduction. And here's the trick. Don't explain it. Don't justify it. Just say it. And let her sit in the space it creates. Women remember what they feel more than what they hear. So if you make her feel curious, slightly off balance, and deeply seen, you're not just complimenting her, you're haunting her. Think about this. Most people are desperate to be fully understood. But when someone understands you too quickly, it's boring. When someone almost understands you, when they catch glimpses of your truth, but leave you hungry for the rest, now that's addictive. That's how your words become an emotional cliffhanger. Let's take another angle. She says something about her past, something messy, maybe even dark. Most guys would avoid it. Stay polite, but you lean in and say, "That's the part of you I find most interesting." Now you've done something dangerous. You've just complimented the thing she hides. You validated the chaos, the shadow, the stuff she thinks no man wants to touch, but you didn't go overboard. You didn't turn it into therapy. You just dropped it quietly, confidently. And now she's thinking about it. She's replaying it. She's wondering why that hit so hard. And that's what makes her want more. Not more compliments, more of you. Not because you said something beautiful, but because you said something no one else would have dared to say in the way you said it. That's high-level masculine presence. Here's the mindset to carry. Every compliment should raise her curiosity, not her ego. Make her lean forward, not relax backward. Make her feel slightly exposed but safe. Let her think about what you didn't say more than what you did. And when she walks away from you, she shouldn't feel like she's been praised. She should feel like she's been studied, admired for something so specific, so rare, that it makes her wonder, who is this man? Why do I feel this way? What else does he see in me? When you can trigger those questions with just a few words, that's not a compliment. That's a seed planted in her psyche. And some seeds, they grow into obsession. So remember this. Don't compliment to impress. Compliment to ignite. And if you've ever made a woman pause, smile, then go quiet, you've probably already done it. Let me know in the comments I left her thinking, because sometimes it's not what you say, it's what you almost said. And that silence, that space, that's where the real desire lives. And now you know, most men throw compliments to get attention. You give them to spark emotion, tension, and memory. That's the difference between being remembered and being wanted. If this video spoke to something real inside you,